everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make that top there, that spring or summer top that you saw me wearing in the picture. Okay, you can adjust the size on this to make it fit your size. Now as it sits, I am 5'3" and it should fit size large to extra large, the size that I made. So I'll go ahead and give you some measurements of it. So from the neckline down, I can't get it all on camera here, but I'll try, is 24 inches, and then across is 21 inches. Okay, so that is the measurement. Now that does not count this little sleeve part up here. That you can put up on your shoulder like I was wearing, or it can hang down. And this is what the stitch looks like. Works great over a tank top or some other type of top like that. Now remember, the size I'm making is for large to extra large, and if you want to make it longer, because I am only 5'3", you can definitely do more rows to make it longer. Okay, so for this project I used Gazelle Rock and Roll yarn, and this comes from Hobium. It is a medium 4-weight. It's an acrylic polyamide merino blend. You do not have to use this yarn. Any 4-weight yarn will work fine, but I just use regular black here. Now there are 125 yards per ball, and I went through almost 4 balls, so probably right at 500 yards is what you're going to need. And then I'm going to be using a size J, which is a 6mm crochet hook. I am going to show you with a different color yarn how to start it, because the black is probably going to be hard to see. Okay, so the yarn that I'm using to show you is this Red Heart Super Saver. So I'm going to show you how to make it size large, extra large. Now if you want to make it bigger, the multiple of the stitch is 4 + 1. So to make it my size, I started out with a chain of 73. Now if you want to make it bigger or smaller, what you need to do is I always Google women's sizing chart for shirts, and it always says that a large to extra large averages in between 40 and 42 inches. I always take the biggest number, so that is why one side of my panel was 21 inches, and the other back side, because it's 2 panels sewed together, one side was 21 and the other side was 21, which made it a total of 42 inches, which would be equivalent to a large, extra large. So you look at the women's sizing chart and you determine the size. Say you need a 50 inches around chest wise. Say it's 50 inches. You'd make one panel 25 and the other one 25. All right, so what you want to do now, once you get your chain as long as you want it to be, in a multiple of 4 + 1. So remember, mine's large, extra large. I chained 73. What we're going to do is we're going to start off by putting a double crochet in the 5th chain from the hook. Now remember, we don't count the one that's on our hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to do a double crochet like that. Now we're going to start the repeat. We're going to chain 3, and we're going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and double into the next. This is a relatively easy stitch to do. It's just a 2-row repeat. Again, we're going to chain 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and double into the next. Again, chain 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and double into the next. Now you want to repeat this pattern until you get to the end of the row. chain 3, skip 3 again, and double into the next. So I'm going to repeat this until I make it to the end. Alright, I'm coming to the end. I have 4 chains left. I'm going to go ahead and do a chain 3 and double crochet into the last stitch, and that'll end row 1. Follow along with me now. You'll have a total. What we're going to do is we're going to count this little spot here as a chain space. So counting that chain space, you'll have a total of 18 chain spaces. Remember, you got to count that little guy on the end. He counts as a space. So if you're following along with me, you'll have 18 now. So we are going to chain 4 and turn our work. Now we are going to put a single crochet in the middle stitch of this chain 3. So in the second stitch, the middle one right through it, single crochet. And then we're going to do a chain of 2, and we're going to put a double crochet on top of this next double crochet. Just like that. And we're going to kind of start repeating. We're going to chain 2, single crochet in the middle stitch of this chain 3 space, single crochet, chain 2, and then we double crochet on top of this next double crochet. Just like that. Again, we're going to chain 2, single crochet in the middle stitch of this chain 3 here, chain 2, and then double crochet on top of the next double crochet. And we're going to repeat this all the way to the end. So again, chain 2, single crochet in the middle stitch of the chain 3, chain 2, and double crochet on top of the next double. So I'm going to continue this until I get to the end of my row, and this is what it starts to look like. Alright, I'm coming to the end of row 2, and I did a double crochet right here in the last double crochet, and we have this little chain space here on the end. I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to single crochet in the third stitch. It's actually a chain 4 there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to single crochet into the third chain of that chain 4. Just like that. And that'll end row 2. Row 3, we're going to chain 4 and turn our work. Now this is very similar to row 1. We are going to double crochet into this very first double crochet. And then we're going to repeat by chaining 3. This starts our repeat. We chain 3, and then we skip this single crochet here, and into the next double crochet, we double crochet right on top of it. Just like that. Again, chain 3, skip this single, and then we come to the double, and we double crochet right on top of it. Chain 3, skip the single, we come right here to the double, and double crochet into the top of it. And this is what we're going to repeat for row 3. Chain 3, skip that single, and double crochet into the top of the next double. And we're going to repeat this pattern until we get to the end of the row. Okay, I'm coming to the end, and I did a double crochet here in my last double crochet, and I chained 3. I have a single crochet and a chain space here on the end, chain 4. I'm going to do a double crochet in the third stitch of that last chain 4, like that. And then again, counting this little guide chain here on the end, you'll have 18 chain spaces. And that's what we're going to keep repeating. We're going to keep repeating rows 2 and 3 until we get it the length that we need it to be. And we need to make 2 panels the exact same. So for row 4, I'm going to repeat row 2. So that's where we chain 4, turn our work, and we single crochet in the middle stitch of our chain 3. And then we chain 2 and double crochet into the next double crochet. Chain 2, single crochet into the middle stitch of our chain 3, chain 2, and double into the next double. So we're just going to keep repeating rows 2 and 3, like I said, until you get it, the length that you need it to be. All right, I have finished my 33 rows of my panel. I'm going to do 2 more rows, but they're going to be short rows. It's going to create the neckline. So if you want yours longer than mine, than the picture, you keep going until you get it as long as you'd like. But remember, we will be adding 2 more rows to the top, and make sure you end on a chain space row like this. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, that was row 33 that I just finished, and it was a chain space row. So for row 34, I didn't tie off or anything. I'm just going to make this row a little shorter. So I'm going to do my chain 4 and turn, and I'm going to do the same thing we've been doing, but I'm only going to do it over 3 of these chain spaces. So I'll go into the second chain of that chain 3, chain 2, double crochet into the next, chain 2, go into the middle stitch again of that chain 3, chain 2, double crochet into the next. So it's the same thing we've been doing. I'm just gonna stop short. Chain 2, go into the middle stitch of that chain 3, chain 2, and then double crochet into the next. Now, if you are making yours, if you are making a bigger size, you might need to go in further. You want to leave your neck hole though, where there are 12 of these chain 3 spaces open. So I used up 3 here. So here was 3 here, and then our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then there'll be 3 at the end. And that's counting this little chain space here. He counts as a chain 3 hole. So 12 of them for your neck hole. If you're making it smaller than mine, you might want to leave your neck hole a little bit smaller. It's hard for me to do a bunch of different sizes, so I just try to do my best to teach you how. So now what we're going to do, I went in 3 of these chain spaces, as you can see. So I just did my double crochet into that double crochet. Now what I'm going to do is chain 4, I'm sorry, turn my work, and I'm going to go across again, and I'm going to do the chain space row again. So I am going to do a double crochet into this first double crochet here, and then I'm going to chain 3, and then I'm going to double crochet into the next double crochet, and then I'm going to chain 3, and I'm going to end, like always, by double crocheting in the 3rd stitch of the chain 4 here at the end. And that will end that side. And you see you'll have your 3 chain spaces there. Now what I'm going to do is clip that off, and I want to do the same thing on the other side. That off. and tie it off here. So I'm going to turn it back to where I'm on the other side here. Now this one will look a little different because we're counting this in here as a chain 3 space. So that's where we want to start in. Okay, so we're going to start here in this chain space here on the end into the 3rd chain of that chain 4. Start your yarn, chain 1. We're going to go right back into it and single crochet. And now we're going to work a chain of 2. And then we're going to double crochet into the top of this next double crochet. And then we're going to chain 2. We want to work across 3 chain spaces, but remember this small one here counts as 1. So again, we're going to single crochet in the middle stitch of our next chain 3 space, chain 2, double crochet on top of the next double crochet, chain 2, single crochet in the middle stitch of our next chain 3 space, chain 2, and then double crochet into the top of our next double. So let's check it out. And we went across 3 chain spaces. We did, because we're counting this little one here as a chain space. So there's 1, 2, 3. So now again we're going to chain 4 and turn our work, and we're going to make a chain space row again. So we will double crochet into our first double crochet over here, chain 3, double crochet into the next double crochet right here, chain 3, and end by double crocheting into the 3rd stitch of the last chain 4, and that will give us 3 chain spaces again. Might look a little different than the other side, but it's still going to look the same. So go ahead and clip that off and then tie that off. Now remember, if you made yours bigger, you might need to go in a little bit more, but you want to have 12 empty chain spaces here at the top. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 empty. And if you made yours smaller than mine, you might want to go 8 empty, or 10 empty maybe, something like that, to make it a little bit smaller. You can hold this up to you and adjust the size. That's kind of what I do. I just hold it up to myself and I go like that. I go by that. All right, so now we're going to sew the 2 pieces together. So we'll get them out, lay them flat. Both sides look pretty much the same to me. So I'm going to lay both sides together here. And then I'm going to sew, but I need to leave a space for the armhole. Now, you can make your armhole as big as you want it to be. My suggestion would be to, what I'm going to do is sew up the top first, and then I'm going to lay it over my shoulders and then decide where I want to put my armhole. So I'm going to use a yarn needle and yarn to sew mine together. Okay, so I got the top facing me. Here you can see is the neckline right here, and here's the 2 rows that we did to kind of form that would go up over your shoulder. All I'm going to do is I have my yarn needle, right side of your work facing you. Doesn't matter, because if you want to flip it inside out you can, because both sides look very similar. And I'm going to start, I know it's hard to see with the black, but I'm going to start at the top of this chain 3 space, and I'm just going to grab the loops and sew them together. I'm not going to go over and over. I'm going to go back and forth like this. Me using black, you're not going to really be able to see where you sewed. If you're using another color, make sure you sew neatly. That way people can't, you can't see your seam. I got a knot in my yarn. But I'm going to do this all the way across. And I'm going to do the same on both sides until that top is all the way sewed up. And this is the part that's going to kind of be on our shoulder. You just want to make sure that you sew it good, nice and tight, so it doesn't come undone. It will be stretchy though because it's a lacy fabric, lacy stitch, and that's fine. It's supposed to be like that. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up all the way across, sewing just this top part together, and then the little shoulder area, the part that's going to hang on your shoulders. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. And then I'll determine where I want to put my armholes. So when you get to the end, I'll just finish. I'm almost to the end. Like I said, just make sure it's good and tight. Like that. Now that's all sewed up there at the top. And if you feel like you don't like your seam at the end, we can always flip it inside out. But since mine's black, it's not extremely noticeable. But now I'm going to do the same thing over here on the other side, the other shoulder. Alright, I have my piece sewed together here at the top. So now I'm going to fold it and sew up the sleeves. So I tried mine on and I determined where I want my armholes to be. So I want to make sure I leave those open. And you try yours on and determine where you want your armholes to be too, in case you're doing a different size than me. So what I'm going to do is count down from the top, counting the chain 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's going to be my armhole opening. Now, if you want yours bigger than that, that's completely up to you. You can do it bigger or smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and tie these chain spaces together so I know not to sew that up. That's going to be part of my sleeve. Okay, now I'm going to sew up the sides the same way that I sewed up the top with my yarn needle. So I got my space marked off for my sleeve. So what I'm going to do, only thing that's important here is make sure you keep your rows lined up on each side. Make sure the chain space rows stay lined up and then the other rows stay lined up. So here is my chain space row that I put my marker in for my armhole. So I'm going to go ahead and go down to the next row and then I'm just going to start sewing it together just like I did at the top, back and forth. Oops. And I'm going to do this the same on both sides until it's sewn together as neatly as I can. Do this all the way down. Make sure you keep your rows lined up. Your chain space rows on both pieces stay lined up like this, and then oops, your other rows stay lined up. I'm going to go all the way down, but I'm actually going to leave about 2 inches of it unsewn at the bottom just to give it like a little split. You don't have to do that. You can sew it all the way up if you want. That's just something I'm going to do to decoration, I guess. So I'm going to continue down until I get to where I have about 2 inches left to sew, and that's where I'll meet back up with you. Okay, once you make it back down to the bottom where you're sewing it and you have just a couple inches left, I'm just going to leave that unsewed. You can sew it all the way up if you want, but I'm going to leave it. And now I'm just going to kind of weave my tail in to hide it up the seam. So I'm just kind of going back up to hide my tail. Remember, it's your shirt. If you want it to go all the way down, that's fine. Alright. So mine's all sewed up on both sides. Now I'm going to go around the collar with some single crochet to clean it up. Now, initially I was going to add sleeves to mine, but I decided against that. But I can show you how real quick, just the basics of adding sleeves. What you need to do is go around your entire sleeve opening with a row of single crochet and make sure that it's when you end in a multiple of 4. And then you can just continue with this same design for the sleeves if you want. Or you can do solid double crochet sleeves. It doesn't matter. But if you want to use this design, make sure that it's in a multiple of 4. You just go around single crochet row first, and then you start doing your design. This design right here. Or like I said, double crochet. If you want solid sleeves, make them as long or short as you wish. But now I'm going to go around the top and clean up the collar. The row of single crochet. So you want to get the right side of your work facing you. I guess any side is the right side for me. Okay. So I'm up here at the collar area. And single crochet, or you get your hook here. And let's see, here is where we crocheted the 2 pieces together. You can see, just want to start somewhere around here in the corner of the chain spaces. So see where this double crochet here is attached to this double crochet. I'm going to start right there, and I'm going to go into it, and I'm going to put a single crochet. You don't have to exactly start there, but just somewhere around. I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to go back into that double crochet and single crochet. Now this chain 3 space, I'm going to put 3 single crochets right through the chain 3 space, and then 1 single crochet right there into the next double. All we're doing is cleaning up the collar. 3 single crochets right through this chain 3 space, and 1 single crochet into that next double crochet. And I'm going to do this all the way around. 3 single crochets into the next chain 3 space, and then 1 single crochet into the next double, just like that. And I'm going to go all the way around until I get doing that, until I get right over here where our shoulder part is, and I'll meet right up with you right over here. All right, I've made it up here to the top here where our shoulder piece is, and you can see I just did 3 single crochets in this chain 3 space, 1 single crochet in that double, and then I have these 2 doubles on the side and this double here. I'm going to go into this space and work 2 single crochets. Now this does not have to be exact. And I'm going to put 1 double crochet, or one single crochet in the top of this space here. This is just to kind of evenly spaced out single crochets. And then I'm going to put 2 more single crochets in this next little V space. And then that should get us around the turn here. And now we can start. I'll start by putting 1 single crochet right here into this double crochet. And then I'll start again by working 3 single crochets into the chain 3 spaces. And then 1 single crochet into the double crochet. So I'm repeating what I just did on the front, on the back. And remember, it doesn't have to be exact. We're just kind of the numbers don't really matter. We're just trying to clean up the top edge. So 3 singles in each chain 3 space, and then 1 on top of the double crochet until we make it back around to our starting point. Okay, now once you make it to the end here, you just slip stitch there in your first single crochet and you can tie off. Now if you want to keep going with rows of single crochet to build your neck up, that's fine. You know, that would look good too. That's completely up to you if you want your neckline to be thicker than mine. Remember, it's your top. You do it however you like. I just kind of give you a little bit of direction, but you know, you can do it the rest of the way how you like. There we go. That's it. Remember, I decided against putting sleeves on it, but I did tell you how. It's easily that you could put sleeves on it. You just go around your sleeve area, a single crochet. If you're going to be using this same stitch, make sure it's done in a multiple of 4. If you're going to use a straight double crochet, then any number of stitches will work, and you can make your sleeve as long or short as you want. But that's it. I'm going to leave the bottom the way it is. I kind of like the look of the bottom being a little bit jaggedy like that. But that's it. That's all there is to it. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Check out all my hundreds of tutorials. Also, I'll put a link to my family vlog channel if you want to check that out. Also, if you like that kind of stuff. But until next time, give me a big like and a subscribe on this channel. Have a good day.